Today we're going to take a look at what exactly foundational reading is and what it entails. Um, it's very, very, very crucial that we understand that becoming a reader does not just happen overnight. My name is Krista Klein, and I am very proud to say that I am a Red Raider alumni. I am a wife, have been married for 10 years to be exact. I am a mother of two beautiful children, Riker, who will soon be 5, we like to round up, and Sawyer, who is 2. I am an educator with 8 years of experience. I have taught 2nd grade, 3rd grade ELAR, and I currently serve as a dyslexia interventionist on our campus. And then I am currently attending Lubbock Christian University, working to get my administration. So we have some objectives today. First off, I hope I can support you in understanding what exactly phonological and phonemic awareness are. Also, my goal is to help you learn the appropriate order for teaching these foundational reading skills and acquire some strategies to develop students' phonological and phonemic awareness skills. So here we have a very good visual. This is in your handouts, if you'll reference handout number 1. We have an umbrella here. So the phonological awareness is the big umbrella. And underneath it, as you can see, the raindrops are all of the pieces that fall under that big piece. So we have words and sentences, onset and rhyme, syllables, rhyme and alliteration, and then a subdivision of phonological awareness is phonemic awareness, which entails isolating words, blending words, addition and deletion, as well as substituting of sounds, and then segmenting sounds. So a very good visual there for us to reference throughout. So I like to prompt the question, why exactly is phonological awareness so important? Very, very important to understand that phonological awareness is auditory. So for me to understand this, I think of a phone. Inside of the word phonological awareness, we have that word phone. And when we talk on the phone, we use our ears to hear. And so you can maybe use that to help you remember exactly what phonological awareness means. But it is important to understand that phonological awareness is an auditory skill. And it is the foundation that is needed to be a successful reader as well as a successful speller. This right here is a very good visual as well. This is in your handouts. You can reference handout number 2. So we have stair steps. These are the building blocks to work towards being a fluent reader and speller. So we start with rhyming. Then we move towards alliteration, and after alliteration comes sentence segmenting, and then syllable blending and segmenting. That's for your words, individual words. Then we move on to onset and rhyme, blending words, segmenting words. Then we have our phonemes. Those are the individual sounds. And we start throwing in the physical letters on paper. We blend those, we segment those, and we manipulate those sounds on paper. So we're going to take a minute to look at some ways to teach each of these important pieces. So first off, we have rhyming. 2 very awesome ways of teaching rhyming. First off, books. You cannot go wrong with reading books. Exposing your students to books that have rhyming words will naturally help them pick up on those rhyming sounds. As you're reading, you'll stop and point them out. Ask the students what words rhyme on this page. But there on this page, you'll see that there's some good books listed. There's tons and tons and tons of books out there with rhyming words. We all know Dr. Seuss loves to rhyme, so he is another great resource. Rhyming bingo is an excellent activity for this, because what's happening here is the teacher is calling out words. And again, remember, we start with that auditory piece, so all we need to do is be able to hear those sounds. So rhyming bingo would be a great, fun activity to work on rhyming. Then we move on to alliteration. For those of you that are not familiar with that term, alliteration basically entails that each beginning sound is the same, whereas going back to rhyming, the ending sound is the same. So as you can see from the two examples below, first off we have that poem over there on the right, a silly, slippery snake. Almost like tongue twisters. It's hard to say. There's poems out there that are wonderful for teaching alliteration. And then over there on the left, you can see that they actually took the students' names from the class and then produced some alliteration sentences. The kids were not responsible for writing this. The kids were not responsible for reading this, but they were responsible for hearing sounds that started the same. So some great examples there. Kiera kicked kangaroos kindly. Dominic dances downtown daily. Those are great examples of alliteration. Next, we have sentence segmenting. So basically what this entails is you have a sentence. Your goal is to count how many words are in that sentence. So over there on the left, you can see a picture of a sentence, "It is red." And they physically took pieces to count the number of words in the sentence. Or that fun little dabber. How fun would that be to dab the pumpkins as the teacher reads along? And of course that can be changed to go with the theme of the month or whatever it may be, but you get the idea there. And then over here on the right, I love, love, love this idea because this is very kinesthetic. The students can physically slide the beads over as the teacher reads aloud a sentence and they hear a new word being produced. Two great examples of what you can do to practice sentence segmenting. Then moving on to syllables. So now we're not just looking at the words in the sentence, how many words are in a sentence. Now we're looking at the individual words and we're dividing those words into syllables. As you can see there, get up and move. We have kids that are very wiggly, so this would be a wonderful activity. The kids can physically jump from one dot to the next as they hear the word parts. Then we have syllable sorting mats. There I see an apple. You clap that word out, apple. We have two syllables, so they placed it on the two-syllable sheet. Or glue. Glue. One syllable. Kangaroo, I see on the three-syllable. Kangaroo. Wonderful, wonderful activities there. Next, we have what's known as onset and rhyme. So when you are looking at onset, that's the initial sound you hear. And then your rhyme is the remaining sounds in a word. So a really easy, simple way to take care of this is to have these visual cards of, words, but not actual letters. So we have the pictures there. We have a fish. So as a class, we would discuss what is the onset and rhyme for fish. So we have ish. Put it together, we have fish. Or you can go a little bit deeper. Over there we have an example of a riddle, which the kids love to do. It kind of challenges them a little bit to think, what could this word be? Great example, and this one even pulls in rhyming, which is a skill that has previously been taught. So that's a great example there. I love it. Starts with sh, which would be that onset sound, and it rhymes with beep. So we put that together, eep and sh. We have sh, eep. Okay. Okay, now we go to that term phonics. Okay, we hear all about this term. Are we teaching phonics in the classroom? So it's important to understand what exactly phonics is. So phonics is how we teach reading and writing to our beginning learners. We are talking about their phonemic awareness, or their ability to hear, identify, and manipulate those phonemes. Phonemes in order to teach the correspondence between these sounds and the spelling patterns, or the graphemes that represent them. The big goal of phonics is to enable beginning readers to decode new written words by sounding them out, or in phonics terms, blending the sound spelling patterns. So phonemic awareness is one of the strongest indicators of future success in learning to read. Love, love, love that saying there. Here we can see there's lots of different pieces to phonemic awareness. We have isolating sounds. What is the first sound in cat? What is the last sound in cat? What is a medial sound in cat? Then we have blending sounds. There's that onset and rhyme again. Or we even go further into blending individual phonemes. K, at. Substituting sounds. This can get a little tricky. We take the k out of cat and put the p in its place. Now we have pat. Deleting phonemes. Take away that C. What do we have left? We have at. Segmenting sounds. Onset and rhyme. And then individual phonemes. So blending sounds, going back over to the left, blending sounds is putting those sounds together. Segmenting is breaking them apart. And that is more appropriate for when we get into the spelling piece, actually putting the sounds that we hear on paper. Adding phonemes. What word do we get when we add S to cat? So then we have scat. Or what word do we get when we add a C to at? And we have cat. So a favorite of mine that I use often in my position is Elkonin boxes, also known as sound boxes. And I swear by these things. They're wonderful for all students, but especially for those who really struggle with hearing individual sounds. So as you can see there, we have boxes, and the students will use these boxes to segment the sounds. So we take several steps to get to writing our spelling words on paper. The first thing we do is tap out the word. So we basically use our fingers, and for each sound or phoneme that we hear, we tap a finger. And then once we've tapped those sounds, we determine how many sounds we hear, which will correlate with how many boxes that we will use. And then we build the word. And what I mean by building the word is you physically, or the kids, physically put pieces into the boxes. So you can use pennies, or over there on the right you see the blue and red squares. I love to use these because I have them even take it a step further and put the blues for consonant sounds and the reds for vowel sounds. So we build the word. How many ever sounds we heard when we tapped it out is how many boxes we will use. Then we drag the word. So what that entails is taking our pointer finger and pulling down each piece, whether it's a penny, whether it's a tile, whatever you're using, you're going to pull down each piece and again say those phonemes, say those sounds that you hear. And last but not least, we write the phonemes, or write the sounds that we hear. And we match it to the letter or letters that would go with those sounds. So again, this is a great way to segment sounds. It helps the students hear each individual sound, and it's very, very helpful for spelling purposes. Some other activities that I just kind of threw in here for segmenting and blending. There's that onset and rhyme activity. They put an onset sound in the box and they pull over a rhyme sound. They put it together, they blend it to make the word tall. So we have t, all, tall. Great activity, very simple to create. And over there to the far right, you'll see some Velcro. This would be a great station so the students can look at the picture, ask themselves, what sound do I hear in the initial position in man? And of course you can see they put an M, and then they move along to the next one. What sound do I hear in an? I hear the k sound. What letter goes with that? There are some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful resources out there that pull in your technology. Google Classroom is a great resource to use, and as you can see, this was created by Della Larson, and this is just something I found on Teachers Pay Teachers that is very, very useful. Again, as you can see by the visual there, basically there's going to be a picture and then they pull over the sound, and in this example it would be the final sound that you hear. But this is just a couple examples. There are thousands and thousands of resources out there. Just hop online, check out Pinterest, check out Teachers Pay Teachers. Don't recreate the wheel. There's definitely options available for you. I love the parking lot activity. The boys especially love this. So they'll pull a car up into each parking spot to create words and blend sounds. Or you have your dice activity where you roll the onset dice and then the rhyme dice and put those sounds together to create words. That one takes it a step further. Are they creating a real word, or is this a nonsense word or a made-up word? Then again, we have an activity that requires movement, which is wonderful for your younger kids. I love this one. They're jumping from hula hoop to hula hoop, bag, as they jump, and then they're going to blend those sounds together to create the word bag. Just a few more, and then we will wrap things up. So we have using word patterns. I love this one. This one kind of pulls in your rhyming. It's kind of hard to see there, but we have the word slim. So we're looking for words that rhyme with slim. And then we have him, and trim. They both have those ending sounds that are the same. There's a flip book here where you can just go through and practice reading sounds that correlate with the phonemes that are on the physical paper. Or something I love, love, love to do is word sorts. You can do blind sorts. You can do open sorts. There's just so much. It's endless. And the kids love to do the sorts. It's something that they do weekly in my class, and they really, really love it. So basically what we would do is you can have a 2-way sort, you can have a 3-way sort, 4-way sort, and again, these resources are out there, they're available, don't recreate the wheel. But for example, if we were doing vowel consonant E and we had A consonant E words and let's say I consonant E words, we would have 2 categories. And then the kids would physically place the little pieces they cut out into the correct column. Or they can write them in the correct column. There's no specific way to go about this, but basically they are looking visually at the words and they're listening to the sounds in the words and they're placing them in the correct category. Or what it can be, I mentioned the word blind sort. That would basically mean someone else is calling out a word, whether it's you, the teacher, or a partner. They're going to call out the word and the student has to listen and write the word in the correct category. Great, great activities there. So when we think about word study and when we think about our day, this is something that we need to be doing daily. Some of us have gotten in the habit of not making a part of our day, but it is crucial that we continue this, not just in the younger grades, but throughout their elementary career especially. So first off, we're going to make it fun. And then we're going to keep it short. I'm not asking that you make this a long, drawn-out thing. 15 minutes max daily. And constantly make sure you are assessing and reassessing and figuring out what's working and what's not working. It's just like you would with any other concept. So there you have those 4 tips. I would like to end our day with reflecting on our learning. There was a lot of information thrown out there. I just kind of hit the tip of the iceberg. I could go on and on and on and on about these activity or these words and what they mean and what it should look like and the importance of it, but we only have so much time. So I want you to reflect on your learning. Also, over to the right, you will see I have a question board. If you have any questions, of course, I've answered several throughout this lesson, but if you have any questions that still remain, please, please, please put those questions on the board. I'm sure someone else in here has that same question, and I would love to answer it if I can. But I also want you to reflect on your learning. What is one thing that you are walking away with today that you didn't know prior to walking in the building? We're going to share those thoughts with our group, and then I'll call on a few of you to share before we wrap things up.